And welcome in Irish Nation to the Golden Dawn. We're here with Coach Dan Reardon following the Week 7 win over Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, and we're looking forward to Villa Angela St. Joseph on Friday for Week 8. Coach, thanks for joining me. You guys got it done in a convincing fashion, a lot of quick strike offense. What did it look like, and what did it take to get that win?
Yeah, so St. V's is a little bit down this year, and an uncharacteristic record for them, obviously, and that they're in a little bit of a rebuilding mode. But hey, I was very pleased with how our kids came out and very quickly established a presence and executed at a high level early on. And as a result, we were able to get a lot of young guys, a lot of reps earlier than most games.
And so now you go on to Villa Angela St. Joseph, a team that's been playing well this year as well. This has been a very competitive game. You guys have met over the last few years,
Yep.
and you're going on the road, big new stadium. What are you expecting, especially with that atmosphere of a brand opening of a new field?
Yeah, it's a big game. I mean, I've had a lot of media requests this week. Not just local media, more from a statewide perspective, and it's a big game when you start getting those calls. And two very talented football teams. As you mentioned, we've played them as much as anybody over the past handful of years, and there have been some very competitive games, and our kids know how talented they are. They have some big, really strong guys. They have a handful of guys that are getting recruited at a very high level. Tailbacks going to Ohio State. They have a receiver going to Purdue. They have a couple linemen getting heavily recruited and so on. So, we have our hands full, so to speak, and we need to play well and execute well and, play our best game of the season, certainly.
And last year when you guys took them on in the playoffs, it was a big, mention of, Bo Jackson, the running back, and Christian Lynch. And then Christian didn't end up playing, but Joe ran for over 100 yards, and now he's back facing them again. And so with two very big physical lines and just fast, athletic running backs, what do you expect both teams to kind of look like in terms of, balance with the pass and the run?
Yeah, so first of all, we'll talk about them a little bit. Their team, they want to run the football, and they're very effective at it. Again, they're big up front. They'll play with two wings and motion them and do some really good things in the run game schematically with those guys. And, they create extra gaps with a double wing and motioning across. And, so we have to handle the adjustments from that perspective. But at the end of the day, they want to run the ball, and they're very effective at doing it. And they have very quality backs who are capable of doing it. So, we have to be at our best. We have to be gap sound, like we always talk about. We have to be coverage sure and in the right coverage zones very consistently and all those things. They hit us with a big pass play last year in the playoffs, and so they definitely have big playability, and how do you combat that? You have to be gap sound and assignment sound.
Of course, you mentioned they like to run the ball, and with the defense that's been playing as well as your defense, do you feel like you might have an advantage if you're able to control the run game somewhat because a first-year starting quarterback for them with a team that really focuses on the run?
Well, we definitely have to play great run defense, and you look at some of the teams we've played, and we outside of week one, we've done a really good job against the run, so we have to continue to do that. But again, it comes down to playing your gap. Defensive line, linebackers being gap sound. We have to be assignment sound, gap sound, so they can't crease us for a big play. Then again, you talk about their personnel. Their personnel is very, very good. So we have to get guys to the football. We have to wrap up. We have to tackle well. We have to get a second and a third guy there to make sure their guys are on the ground because they have the ability to break tackles and make plays.
So you put 38 and 27 in two separate games against them last year, and those are very good offensive performances. Of course, a lot of your skill guys back this year, and you guys have spread it around. You've been using multiple receivers, 3 or 4 different running backs, including Quez Patterson, kind of like in that Debo Samuel role where he's lining up a receiver, then running back. And so what kind of versatility do you think that might be able to cause them problems and give you guys some advantages?
Well, again, we like to move our guys around, and you mentioned Quez. He's not the only guy, but we've had a lot of guys contribute offensively, and that's what makes us hard to defend. And I think our offensive coaching staff does a really good job of creating a game plan each week and try to do a couple things. First of all, get the ball to all of our guys, force the defense to defend all those guys, get those guys maybe in different places than what our opposition is seen on film. So there's nuances from week to week that we add. So there's that. But then it comes down to making plays, and we have guys to do it, and when they have an opportunity to make a big play, we need them to make it. And St. Joe's has a very talented defense. They have guys who can run. They play man coverage very well. They put pressure on you by keeping a lot of guys in the box, and they want to force you to throw the ball out there, and they have really good skill guys to cover our skill guys. So our guys have a big test, and I think it's going to be a great matchup because of all those things.
And, of course, this is a game that's going to be continuing over the next handful of years with the new conference, and, just a Northeast Ohio battle between two of the top 10 ranked schools in the state right now in Division III. So what kind of anticipation is going on for this matchup? Obviously, it is just another game in terms of going 1-0 every week, but at the same time, it obviously does have a big game feel to it.
Yeah, it does. And when you're this deep into the season, you're playing a team with only one loss. They're a very talented team, and,
right.
and I think they're saying the same thing about us. So, the deeper you go, and when you have a 0 or a 1 next to your record, it means you're playing at a high level, and they certainly are, and I think we are as well.
So, lastly, we kind of touched on this a bit, but what's it really a full scope going to take to go in there Friday night and get the win?
We always talk about dominating the special teams, and that's something we take a lot of pride in, and we've had a bunch of big plays this year in that phase of the game. We already talked about the defense and just being gap sound, assignment sure, running the football, getting lined up properly, all those things. And when we do those things, it starts with that adjustment and getting lined up. If we get lined up and get adjusted to their formation, then we have a chance to play fast. If we play fast, we're a very talented defense, and we've shown the ability to play at a very high level. On the offensive side, we always like to play with tempo. We need to take care of the football. We always preach that. And then, again, if we have a chance for a big play because of a schematic thing, or because we have a guy in the open field and only has one guy to beat or one guy to make a miss or something like that, we put a lot of emphasis on that with our guys, and I think our guys take pride in that if they get in the open field, they have a chance to turn it into a touchdown. And I think our offensive line has done a good job both protecting our quarterback and giving our running backs a chance to do those things. So, all those things are things that we emphasize, and comes down to two very talented football teams, two teams playing with a lot of confidence right now. And because of that, it's going to be who executes at a higher level, minimizes mistakes, and all those things that you talk about when you play a big game like this.
And it's going to be a great matchup between two very talented and fast teams. We're going to see them on Friday night up at Villa Angela St. Joseph High School. YSN will have some coverage there, and hopefully the Irish can go in there and get a win. Thanks for joining me, Coach Dan Reardon, Ursuline football coach, and we'll see you next week here on YSN Live.